What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, the Blu-ray Bandit, back once again with another pawn shop haul video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for your best shot at a free digital code. Let's see what I can find. All right, I'm back in Orlando. I hit 2 pawn shops. This is the first. Let's see what I got. First up, this was a La Familia pawn shop. I purchased 8 titles from them for a total of $25.56. That comes out to roughly $3.19 each. Ghostwriter Spirit of Vengeance. So I've been considering possibly collecting all comic book movies on Blu-ray, and not just the MCU movies, which I already have all of, but all comic book movies, right? Like the ones that were released in the 80s and 90s as well. In fact, I think some of them go back all the way as far as like the 60s, but the vast majority of comic book movies originated in the 90s, 2000s, and then, of course, into today. This is one of those movies, Ghostwriter. This is a Marvel character, but this is a pre-MCU comic book movie. This is actually the sequel to the original Ghostwriter film, also starring Nicolas Cage. I enjoyed these movies. I wouldn't put them like on my top tier list of comic book movies, but they are good fun, as most Nicolas Cage movies are. He really gets to go full out with the Ghostwriter character. I'm not sure I'd watch the Ghostwriter films repeatedly, but as a bigger comic book film collection, I can imagine it looking nice on the shelf. On top of that, I rarely see Ghostwriter Spirit of Vengeance, the sequel. It didn't particularly scan very high, but I decided to grab it anyway. Knives Out. So this one has come through the hideout before. This is a relatively recent movie. I think this was 2018 or 2019. So whenever I see it on the shelf, I grab it. I already have this title on 4K, so I will not need to keep it. It's a fun mystery thriller that I plan on reselling to help pay for some of the titles that I'm going to keep. Elita Battle Angel, another title. This is maybe the 3rd or 4th copy of Elita Battle Angel that I will be reselling. These pop up in pawn shops quite often here in Orlando. For some reason, not many people saw it in movie theaters, but evidently a lot of people bought it on Blu-ray and eventually dumped. I enjoy this movie. I think it will become a little bit of a cult film over time. If you have not seen it, definitely give it a shot, even if you were not interested. And it's a decent price. Go ahead and grab it. It's worth an easy $8 or $9 on eBay. The Invisible Man. This is another relatively recent film. This is definitely a 2020 film, so within the last year. It's a great reboot of the original Universal Monster Invisible Man films. This one kind of flips the story on its head, where it's less about the Invisible Man himself and more about the woman who is terrorized by the Invisible Man. It's a great movie. Elizabeth Moss is amazing in it, and it's directed by the same guy who directed Upgrade, which we've talked about on this channel before. Good thriller. I already have this on Blu-ray, so I will be reselling this copy. Oddly enough, it doesn't fetch a whole lot on eBay. Not quite sure why, but I will at least double my money, which will go to pay for one of the titles I'm going to keep. Crawl. This is a pulpy monster of the week type movie. It's definitely a B movie directed by Alexandra Aja. She directed the last Punisher theatrical movie, which was a wild ride if you have not seen it. Crawl is pretty fun. It's about a hurricane in South Florida where the water level rises on an evacuated town, and a gator of some sort just starts attacking people. It's very silly, but a fun first-time watch for sure. I do not have this in the collection, but I've already seen it once, and short of a rewatch before I sell it, I can't imagine needing for it to sit on my shelf. Thus, I will be reselling it. Batman Hush. So I don't prefer DC films over Marvel. I know that's not exactly a controversial statement. I think most people prefer Marvel over DC, but there are definitely a lot of DC fanboys out there. This is not one of their theatrically released films. This is an animated movie. And whenever I see these types of titles on the shelf, I pick them up and give them a scan because you just never know what's going to be worth something and what's not. These animated DC movies, for some reason, tend to hold value better than more common live action titles. This one, I think, scanned for roughly $6, $6 or $7, so I grabbed it and plan on reselling it. Scrooge. This is a holiday classic. I've seen it several times. It's a fun holiday movie. It's not one that I ever plan on rewatching for the rest of my life, but it is an odd title to see on a pawn shop shelf, especially since this Blu-ray has a copyright of 2020. So it's a relatively new release of this older classic film. Whenever I see an oddball on the shelf, I pick it up, I give it a good eBay scan. This one listed for $9, so I grabbed it to resell it. Tokyo Ghoul. This is another Blu-ray category that when I see it on the shelf, it's pretty unique, so I always give them a scan. This one would be some kind of science fiction live action Asian film of sorts. I'm not sure exactly what you would call this, but I saw it on the shelf. I grabbed it. I gave it a scan. I really have no intention of watching this or keeping it. It's scanned at roughly $9 or $10, and so I grabbed it with the intent to resell it. Next and final pawn shop for this haul video was another La Familia. I purchased 11 Blu-rays from this pawn shop. They charged me $15.98, which is roughly $1.45 each. Speaking of DC animated films, here's another one, Batman the Killing Joke. I actually remember reading Batman the Killing Joke as a comic book back in the day. This was like in the early 90s, possibly, but I remember it being a fairly popular comic series within the Batman Detective Comics run, which makes me kind of interested in watching this. Although I definitely picked it up and gave it a scan for the purpose of reselling. I think it's scanned at roughly $10 or $11. Either way, whether I watch it first or just go directly to eBay, this one is going to help pay for some titles that I'd rather keep. Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. This is the Harry Potter spin-off series. This is the second film in that Fantastic Beasts series. I've seen the first and I did not love it. I mean, it's okay. I enjoy the Harry Potter movies. I've never read the books. I'm definitely not a Potterphile or anything, but I do enjoy the original Harry Potter films. And I was looking forward to the first Fantastic Beasts, but I was so let down. I didn't catch this one in theaters. So I was excited to see it on the shelf, grab it at a great price. I'm going to give it a watch. I will probably resell it. I mean, in the past, I've had a copy of the original, the first Fantastic Beasts, and resold it because I can't imagine ever rewatching it. I doubt the series will get much better, but I'm one of these completionists that once I start something, I have to see it through. Hopefully they'll do that with the series at large. I'm sure they will. I'm sure these make plenty of money in the end. For now, I bought it to give it a first-time watch, and then I will probably be reselling it. Great Migrations. This is a National Geographic title with slipcase, with a very tight slipcase. Oh, with a sticker over the slipcase. Anyway, this is a National Geographic title. It is sealed. I don't care about keeping nature titles on Blu-ray. I bought this for the express purpose of reselling it. It sells for roughly $5 on eBay. So that's what I will be listing it for, and it will help pay for another title that I plan on keeping. Spotlight on Blu-ray with slipcase. This is also a sealed copy. I already own this in used quality, so I will be reselling it to help pay for some of the Blu-rays that I am going to keep. This one scanned at roughly $9. The slipcase itself definitely has some damage, which I will note in the listing, but overall, this will be an easy sale. 9. This is a movie that I have never seen, but I've always had an interest in. I don't know why I've never pulled the trigger. I've definitely never seen it in a pawn shop, so I picked it up. I gave it a scan. It didn't scan very high, but I could see it possibly being a movie that I enjoy and possibly wanting to keep. Even at the price I paid for it, if I decide to sell it, I will definitely get my money back and then some. I'm going to have to replace the case on this one. Not only is there writing, but it's kind of wavy. There's a sticker on the outside, so it's not on the insert, but I can't imagine that's going to come off without too much residue behind it. Yeah, the case in general has not been well cared for, I would say. But I'm excited to watch it, mostly because of the cast. I mean, you've got Daniel Day-Lewis, Marion Cotillard, Penelope Cruz, Judi Dench, Fergie from the Black Eyed Peas. I mean, you can't not watch a movie with Fergie in it, amongst others. It has 4 Academy Award nominations. Unfortunately, not a Best Picture, so I don't have to keep it. But yeah, I'm excited to check this one out. You got the old style case with the double-sided insert. It's from the director of Chicago, which I enjoyed as well. Can't wait to give this one a watch and possibly add it to the collection. We'll see how it goes. Mad Max Fury Road, sealed. I love finding sealed copies of Blu-rays in pawn shops. I gave it a scan. This sells on eBay for roughly $7. I'm sure you've heard of it. I'm sure you've seen it. If you haven't, what rock have you been living under? Check out Mad Max Fury Road. It's an awesome action movie. I already own it on Blu-ray. My copy is opened. This one is not, so I will be reselling it. Another sealed Blu-ray. This is a double feature of Rock'n'Rolla and Swordfish. 2 kind of crime movies. Swordfish, maybe you would consider that a hacker movie more than a crime film, but 2 of my favorite cheesy action movies, I would say, action crime thrillers. Both worthy rated R films from the mid-2000s, if that's your thing. I plan on reselling this. I already have this combination in Blu-ray. It should sell for roughly $5. And since it's sealed, it'll be an easy listing. Keanu, once again, sealed. Now, I know this ran at Dollar Tree for $1 a few months ago. I personally couldn't find one out in the wild at my local Dollar Trees. Oddly enough, despite it being sold there for $1, it regularly sells for $5 or $6 on eBay. So I grabbed a copy. I think with time that will actually go up. I'm going to put it on my shelf, maybe give it a rewatch someday. And if not, I'll just eventually keep it sealed and sell it. The Killing, another sealed copy. I mean, that's debatable. The seal is still on it. It's definitely never been watched. The top seal has never been broken, but the shrink wrap is definitely coming off of this. I would still list this as new on eBay and just note that the outer wrapper is peeling back, but this is a new, never been watched copy of season 1 of The Killing. I've seen every season of The Killing. I love the show, but I don't necessarily need it on physical media as I don't plan to rewatch it. That, and it's widely available on Netflix, who bought the show between season 2 and season 3. This physical copy of season 1 scanned for roughly $6, and I plan on reselling it to pay for a title that I would rather keep. Own the Moments, another triple pack, this one with Raging Bull, Rocky, and The Usual Suspects. I mean, these are 3 heavy hitters, I would say. Someday, I'd like to own all the Rocky movies in one nice set, but for right now, I don't own any of them. So if I'm going to own one of them, it might as well be Rocky. I already own Raging Bull. My copy of it is a digibook that sticks out from the shelf, which kind of annoys me. I do like Raging Bull, and I'm not against the idea of having a special edition copy of it on my shelf. I'd prefer it be like a 4K version. Were they to ever release Raging Bull in 4K, I could see replacing this Own the Moments collection with a 4K version of Raging Bull or a 4K version of Rocky for that matter. The Usual Suspects is also a fun crime thriller. I'd pick this up though because I'm probably just going to get rid of my copy of Raging Bull and get rid of my copy of The Usual Suspects. This is acting like it's sealed, but it's not. This is definitely a used copy. Raging Bull, Rocky, and The Usual Suspects. I'll have to clean up the stickers on the top and side, but I am definitely keeping this as a space saver for my shelf and selling my copy of Raging Bull and The Usual Suspects to pay for this title as well as others. And finally, Sin City, A Dame to Kill For. This is the second film in the Sin City series. I've actually come across this title before at pawn shops, and this title being a 3D title, I believe when I sold this in the past, it went for roughly $16 or $17. That's what I plan on selling it for this time. I do not have a copy of this movie, and I'd love to have a copy of it, but I don't care about 3D. I don't have a 3D TV, and I don't plan on ever having a 3D TV. So I'm kind of waiting to just come across a copy in the wild that's not 3D that I can just put on my shelf next to the first film. For now, though, this one will just be sacrificed to the eBay gods. All right, 20 titles, total of $41.24. That's an average per title price of $2.06 each. Total estimated value for this pawn shop haul is $134. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for your best shot at a free digital code. Witness me. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Until then, bye.